The great chamber of the Galactic Council was silent. Thousands of alien eyes watched the glowing center of the hall, where a single blue planet floated as a hologram. Earth. Around it, the voices of hundreds of species whispered and hissed, some in fear, some in excitement. They had all gathered for one reason: to judge humanity. At the highest seat, the Grand Speaker of the Council, a tall insectoid creature named Vralek, raised his metallic claw. "The Council is now in session," he declared. His voice echoed through the vast dome. "Today, we decide the fate of the human race." Whispers grew louder. Holoscreens displayed images of Earth's history: wars, explosions, armies marching, ships fighting in space. "They are dangerous," hissed one alien. "They are chaotic," said another. "They are unpredictable," muttered a third. But not everyone agreed. A small voice rose from the lower seats. It belonged to Ambassador Talon, a quiet avian creature with silver feathers. "Humans have changed," he said. "They brought peace to their world. They helped rebuild colonies destroyed by war. Why judge them for the past?" Vralek's eyes glowed red, because the past never sleeps. Humanity's nature is violence. If they rise again, no world will be safe. Then the heavy doors of the chamber opened. A wave of silence fell again. 2 armored guards stepped in, followed by a human. He walked calmly, his boots echoing against the polished floor. His eyes, sharp and tired, looked around the chamber, studying every alien face that stared back. He stopped in the center beneath the hologram of Earth. "This is Captain Elias Ward," Vralek announced coldly. "He will speak for humanity." Ward bowed slightly. "I didn't come here to beg," he said. His voice was calm but carried weight. "I came to tell the truth." Laughter rippled through the alien seats. "Truth?" sneered one reptilian delegate. "Humans only know how to destroy." Ward didn't flinch. He looked straight at them. "We fought," he said. "Yes, we made mistakes. But every war, every loss has made us who we are, strong, united," Vralek interrupted. "Strong, united? You spread like fire through the stars. You colonized worlds without permission. You built weapons no species should own." Ward stepped forward. "We built them because you forced us to." The room froze. Every alien turned their head toward him. Vralek leaned forward. "Explain yourself, human." Ward's voice hardened. "You call us dangerous, but who attacked our first colony on Vega Prime? Who sent fleets to block our trade routes? You, the Council. You feared what we might become." Gasps filled the chamber. The Council members began shouting, denying, hissing. Lies. Human propaganda. Arrogance. Vralek slammed his claw. Silence. Ward didn't stop. "You say we provoke war, but you're the ones who pushed us into it. You tried to contain humanity. You tried to keep us small, but you failed." There was something unsettling in his voice now, a quiet warning beneath his calm words. Ambassador Talon spoke softly, trying to calm the storm. "Captain Ward, please. This meeting is about peace. The Council wishes to avoid conflict." Ward turned to him. "Peace doesn't start with lies." A sharp silence followed. Then one alien delegate stood up. His species, the Dravak, had fought humanity before. His eyes glowed yellow as he pointed at Ward. "If the humans are not punished," the Dravak said, "they will bring fire again. I say we act now before it's too late." The hall erupted in chaos. Dozens of delegates shouted in agreement. Vralek raised his claw again. "The Council will vote. Humanity's fate will be sealed today." Ward smiled faintly. "You think you hold our fate in your hands? You really don't understand us," Vralek glared. "And what do you mean by that?" Ward looked straight into the hologram of Earth. "You fear humanity's anger," he said quietly. "But you should fear something far worse, in our unity." Before anyone could reply, the lights in the chamber flickered. The holograms blinked out. Panic spread across the room. "What is happening?" shouted one alien. "Security breach!" yelled another. Then the ceiling trembled. A deep rumble echoed through the Council's massive dome. For the first time in centuries, the galactic chamber shook. Outside, through the glass walls, the delegates saw it. Dozens of human ships emerging from hyperspace. They were sleek, silent, and armed. The flag of Earth glowed on each hull. Vralek's voice trembled for the first time. "Impossible. The humans were told not to come." Ward simply looked up, eyes calm. "We didn't come to ask for mercy," he said. "We came because you provoked us." The largest ship turned its cannons toward the Council station. The alien delegates screamed. Lights flashed red. Evacuate. Defensive shields. Stop them! Ward didn't move. He stood still under the hologram of Earth, watching the chaos with cold, quiet eyes. As the alarms echoed, Vralek shouted at him, "Are you threatening the Council, human?" Ward looked back. "No," he said softly. "I'm reminding you." Reminding us of what? Ward's voice lowered to a whisper, almost human and almost terrifying. "That you started this." Outside, the first cannon charged in a bright, growing light in the dark of space. The chamber filled with terrified screams, and then the screen went white. When the blinding light faded, silence took over. The mighty galactic chamber was half dark, smoke rising from shattered lights. The delegates hid behind broken seats, their glowing eyes filled with terror. Outside the windows, the view was clear. Hundreds of human warships surrounded the Council's space station. Their engines burned blue, their weapons locked, forming a circle of fire in the dark. Vralek stood frozen at his podium. For the first time in his long rule, fear gripped his cold heart. "This is madness," he whispered. They wouldn't dare attack the Council, but Captain Elias Ward just stood in the middle of the chaos, perfectly calm. His face was lit by the red emergency lights. "We didn't come to destroy," he said quietly. "But if you fire first, we will finish it." The words echoed through the hall. One of the alien delegates shouted, "Human ships are trespassing. They will be shot down." Ward turned toward him, his eyes like steel. "You try that," he said, "and you'll see what happens when humanity stops holding back." The alien backed away, trembling. Suddenly, a hologram flickered to life beside Ward, a tall woman wearing the black uniform of Earth Command. Her hair was white, her expression sharp. "Captain Ward," she said, her voice steady. "This is Admiral Sarah Kane. The fleet is in position." "Awaiting your signal," Vralek shouted. "Admiral Kane, you are violating every galactic law." Sarah looked straight at him through the hologram. "You lost the right to speak of law the moment you tried to put humanity on trial." Gasps filled the hall again. Ward spoke softly. "Admiral, hold position. We don't fire unless they attack first." "Yes, sir," Sarah replied before her image faded away. For a long moment, no one spoke. Only the hum of the emergency systems filled the air. Ambassador Talon slowly rose from his seat. His voice was soft, full of worry. "Captain Ward, please, this can still be solved peacefully. The Council will listen." Ward turned to him. "Will they? Because every time humanity tried to talk, someone here sent a fleet, a blockade, or a threat." He stepped closer to the central console and pressed a button on his wrist. The main holo display flickered on again, this time showing footage. Images of human colonies burned on alien worlds. Ships destroyed, civilians captured. Every delegate saw the proof of what the Council had done in secret. "This is not fake," Ward said. "These are your ships, your weapons, your orders." The room erupted again, voices screaming, denying, shouting. Vralek slammed the floor with his claw. "Lies! You forged this!" Ward met his glare. "You think we'd come here without evidence?" Suddenly, the chamber doors opened again. 2 guards entered, but this time they weren't Council soldiers. They wore human armor, black and marked with the blue insignia of Earth. Behind them came a small drone floating silently. It projected another hologram, this time a recording of Vralek himself. The Council watched in horror as the image spoke. Vralek's own voice giving secret orders to attack the human colony on Vega Prime. Gasps filled the air. Dozens of delegates stood in shock. That can't be real," Vralek stammered. His claws trembled. "This is manipulation." Ward looked at him coldly. "You tried to bury the truth. You failed." For the first time, Vralek's confidence shattered. He looked around, but no one came to his defense. Even his closest allies stayed silent. Ambassador Talon spoke again, voice trembling. "Then what happens now?" Ward's tone softened slightly. "Now we talk. You tell the truth. You stop calling humanity a threat." The tension in the room was heavy, like a storm waiting to break. Suddenly, alarms blared again, louder this time. A guard's voice shouted from the comm system. "Unknown fleet entering from hyperspace." "They're not human." Everyone froze. Ward looked up at the glass ceiling as new ships appeared outside. Black and spiked, their energy signatures different from any known species. Vralek's voice shook. "Those aren't Council ships." "Who are they?" The new fleet didn't answer. Within seconds, one of their ships fired, not at the humans, but at the council station itself. A blast tore through one of the outer rings. The shockwave shook the entire chamber. Aliens screamed as debris fell from above. Ward grabbed the console for balance. "Admiral Kane! We have a new contact, an unknown fleet attacking the station." Her hologram reappeared instantly. "We see them, Captain. They're firing on both us and the council." Vralek shouted, "Defend us! You have to help us!" Ward looked at him sharply. "Now you want our help?" Another explosion rocked the room. The ceiling cracked. Gravity flickered for a second, pulling everything upward before slamming it back down. Ward clenched his jaw. "Admiral, engage defensive formation. Protect the station and our fleet." "Yes, sir," Kane said. Human ships moving to intercept. Outside, the Black Fleet clashed with human ships. Blinding light filled the sky as energy beams crossed paths. The sound of war thundered through the stars once more. Inside the chamber, smoke and panic spread. Vralek tried to crawl toward an escape hatch, but Ward stopped him. "Who are they?" Ward demanded. "You knew this was coming, didn't you?" Vralek's eyes flickered with guilt. They were supposed to help us control humanity, but they turned against us." Ward stared in disbelief. "You made a deal with them?" Before Vralek could answer, a massive explosion shattered the far wall. The vacuum of space began sucking everything out. Ward hit a control panel, slamming down emergency shields that sealed the breach. Half the chamber was gone. Many delegates had vanished into the void. Ambassador Talon, trembling, looked at Ward. "If they destroy this station, everyone dies." "Humans and aliens both," Ward nodded slowly. "Then it's time we fight together." Vralek, shaking, muttered, "You can't stop them. They're not from this galaxy." Ward's eyes narrowed. "Then we'll show them what humanity can do." Outside, Admiral Kane's voice came through the comm again, tense and urgent. "Captain, the unknown fleet is breaking through our line. They're heading straight for the Council Core." Ward looked toward the window, his reflection framed against the burning stars. He whispered, "They wanted to see what happens when you provoke humanity. Now they're about to find out." The next explosion lit up the station. Brighter, louder, closer. The station shuddered under another explosion. Metal groaned. Alarm screamed. Smoke filled the chamber. Aliens screamed as lights flickered. For a moment it seemed everything was lost. Outside, the unknown fleet moved like shadows across the stars. Their ships were faster than anything humanity or the Council had ever seen. Energy beams cut through space, tearing apart defensive lines. Captain Elias Ward didn't flinch. His eyes scanned the battle outside the window. "Admiral Kane, how many of our ships are left?" 45 combat ready, her calm voice replied. "The rest are damaged or destroyed. Unknown ships are overwhelming our formation." Ward clenched his jaw. "Then we have to fight smarter, not harder. Focus on one target at a time. Draw them into the gravity field of the station. Use the shields as bait." "Yes, sir," Kane said. Her voice carried the steel of command. Vralek watched from the shattered podium, trembling. You expect us to cooperate with humans?" He muttered. Ward didn't turn. "If we don't, everyone dies. That includes you." The Grand Speaker swallowed hard, then nodded reluctantly. "Very well, but do not expect gratitude." Ambassador Talon stepped forward. "Captain Ward, if this works, it could change the way our species see each other forever." Ward glanced at him. "It's about survival now. Later we talk about trust." Outside, the first wave of unknown ships struck again. One massive cruiser broke through the Council's shields, heading straight for the core of the station. Its energy beam carved a scar across the metal hull, sending a shockwave through the chamber. Ward pressed a button on the central console. Holographic projections lit up the room, trajectories, weapon placements, and enemy positions. He turned to Vralek. "We need your weapon systems online. Now." Vralek hesitated, then barked orders at the remaining Council techs. Slowly, turrets spun into position. Plasma cannons powered up, energy shields raised. Ward looked at the human ships forming a circle around the station. "Admiral, hold the front line. We'll guide the unknown fleet into the traps." The first unknown ship approached the station core. Ward's voice was calm, almost quiet. "Now, Vralek, fire." Plasma beams shot out from the Council station, catching the enemy cruiser by surprise. The ship swerved violently, barely avoiding a collision with the station's rings. Human ships fired in unison, synchronized with the Council turrets. The unknown fleet was taken aback. They had underestimated the combined force of humanity and the Council. Inside the chamber, chaos was constant. Broken panels, sparking wires, and panicked aliens filled every corner. Yet Ward moved calmly, issuing orders and tracking the battle. Every decision was precise, like a master chess player predicting moves ahead. "Captain," Kane's voice came urgently. "One of the unknown cruisers is targeting the escape pods. They'll destroy them if we don't intercept." Ward nodded. "Redirect 2 frigates. Pull their attention away from the pods. We can't afford casualties if this station survives." Outside, 2 human frigates darted toward the enemy cruiser. Their engines glowed bright as they fired concentrated beams. The unknown ship twisted, firing wildly, but missed the pods. Vralek's voice trembled. I can't believe it." "Humans are leading the defense," Ward didn't reply. His eyes were fixed on the largest unknown ship now appearing on the horizon. Enormous, black, spiked, with energy shields glowing red. "They're not just attacking," Ward muttered. "They're hunting." Ambassador Talon's feathers bristled. "Hunting? You mean—" "They know who we are?" Ward's eyes narrowed. "They know more than we think. And they're testing us." Another blast shook the station. Sparks flew from the walls. Aliens screamed as the floor trembled beneath them. The unknown fleet's leadership was not just powerful, it was intelligent. Every maneuver seemed calculated. Ward pressed a button. "Activate the decoy fleet. We'll lead them away from the station core." Outside, holographic decoy ships appeared, identical to the human fleet. The unknown fleet fell for it immediately, chasing illusions. The real ships circled back, ready to strike. The battle turned chaotic. Energy beams crisscrossed space. Explosions lit the darkness, and human ingenuity began to shine. Each unknown ship destroyed revealed weak points. Every captured tactical advantage gave humanity an edge. Inside the chamber, Vralek's fear shifted. It was not blind panic anymore. It was awe. I underestimated them," he muttered. Ward glanced at him. "You were warned." The unknown fleet leader finally appeared closer. Its shields glowed brighter than any known technology. It fired a beam so powerful it ripped through multiple human ships at once. Kane's voice rang through the comm, sharp and tense. "Captain, they're breaking through our defenses. They're heading straight for the Council core again." Ward's hand hovered over a large red button on the console, the station's last resort weapon. He hesitated. Pressing it could destroy the unknown fleet, yes, but it could also collapse the station entirely. "Captain Ward," Talon said softly, "if you do that, we might all die, including Earth's fleet." Ward's eyes scanned the chaos outside. Hundreds of lives, human and alien, hung in the balance. He gritted his teeth. Sometimes survival isn't safe. It's necessary. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocked the station. The unknown fleet's leadership was momentarily disabled, hit by precise plasma fire from combined human and Council cannons. Ward exhaled sharply. "Good. Now we strike." He pressed the button. Energy cascaded through the station's core. Massive beams shot into space, targeting the leadership. It screamed under the assault, its shields flickering. But the unknown fleet had more surprises. Another wave emerged from hyperspace, faster and more deadly than the last. Ward clenched his jaw. They thought this would be easy. They thought provoking humanity was a mistake. They're about to learn. It's worse than they imagined. Outside, human and Council forces prepared for the next wave. Explosions lit the black void like fireworks, and the battle for the station, and the galaxy, had only just begun. The void outside the Council station burned with fire. Human and Council ships moved like predators and prey, their engines glowing, weapons firing. Yet the unknown fleet pressed forward relentlessly. Captain Elias Ward stood in the command chamber, his eyes fixed on the holographic display. Explosions lit the dark space around the station. Fragments of destroyed ships floated silently, a ghostly reminder of the battle's cost. Admiral Sarah Kane's voice rang through the comm, tense, but controlled. "Captain, more unknown ships are appearing. Their numbers are increasing faster than we can track." Ward didn't blink. "They're coming from multiple jump points. They're using a coordinated attack pattern, almost as if they know our strategy before we do." Vralek shuffled near the console, fear in his glowing eyes. "Impossible. How can they anticipate every move?" "This technology," It's beyond anything in the galaxy. Ward didn't answer. His hand hovered over the tactical panel, his mind racing. They're not just powerful. They're intelligent. Someone is controlling them. Ambassador Talon flinched. Controlled? But who could have such power? Ward's jaw tightened. Not just power, fear. They want to scare us. They want to see what happens when humanity is pushed to the edge. Outside, the unknown fleet changed tactics. Their ships began circling, isolating smaller groups of human and council ships, picking them off one by one. The battle was no longer about numbers. It was about cunning. Suddenly, one of the council's energy turrets exploded. Vralik stumbled back. No, that's impossible. Our defenses were flawless. Ward glanced at him. Nothing is flawless if your enemy studies you first. This is not random. They know our weaknesses. Another wave of unknown ships broke through the station's outer ring. They moved faster than the human fighters could intercept. Energy beams tore through the hull, shattering bulkheads. "Captain!" Kane shouted. "They're targeting the council core again. If it's destroyed, the station collapses." Ward's eyes narrowed. "Then we'll make them pay for every inch they try to take." He pressed a button, activating the station's hidden defense system, a network of automated plasma turrets and magnetic traps, long kept secret from the council itself. Blue energy arcs lit the void outside as ships were shredded or forced off course. Vralik's voice trembled. "Where did you hide such weapons?" Ward smirked faintly. "Human ingenuity mixed with lessons from your mistakes. You didn't think we'd come unprepared, did you?" Outside, one of the unknown ships fired a massive energy beam toward the station's center. Ward pressed another button. The station rotated its shielded core just in time, deflecting the blast into space. The unknown ship wobbled under the feedback and disintegrated in a brilliant flare. Talon's eyes widened. They just destroyed one of their own ships. But how? Ward's face was calm. "It's not magic. It's strategy." Then the truth hit the chamber like a hammer. The leadership of the unknown fleet appeared on the edge of the holographic display. Larger than the rest, black as void. Its energy shields glowing red and blue in strange patterns. But this time, Ward noticed something unusual. "Admiral, focus scanners on that leader," Ward ordered. Kane's voice was tense. "Captain, the readings are strange. The ship's energy signature is not from any known species." "But wait, it's broadcasting a signal. A command signal." Ward's eyes narrowed. "Whoever controls that ship, they're directing the others. And this signal, it's artificial. Someone built this fleet to attack the galaxy." Vralik's antennae twitched nervously. "A machine fleet? Impossible. We would have detected it years ago." Ward shook his head. "No, Vralik. These are weapons built in secret. Someone planned this for decades. Someone powerful enough to manipulate both human and council actions to push us here." Another explosion shook the station. Sparks fell from the ceiling. Aliens screamed, some ducking behind consoles. Ward turned to Talon. "Do you trust me?" Talon blinked. I don't know, but right now, you're all we have." Ward nodded and looked back at the display. "Then follow my lead. We'll take the fight to them. Not just defend the station, but hit their command node and end this fleet's control." Vralik's voice was trembling. "Captain, do you realize what you're saying? If we fail, every life here, every world under council protection, will be destroyed." Ward's eyes were cold. "And if we do nothing, they destroy us anyway. This is our chance to show them why humanity is not weak, why we fight even when the odds are impossible." Kane's voice came over the comm, steady now. "Captain, the fleet is forming a defensive formation around the leader. We can't just charge. We'll need a diversion." Ward pressed a series of holographic commands. "Prepare decoy signals. Send half the fleet around the far edge. I'll take the rest directly toward the leadership." "This ends tonight." The chamber fell silent. Even Vralik, trembling with fear, sensed the weight of the moment. Outside, the human and council ships split. One group darted into hyperspace corridors, appearing unpredictably to draw enemy fire. Ward led the remaining fleet straight toward the black leadership. Every weapon was ready, every system pushed to the limit. As they approached, the leadership's shields pulsed. Its energy weapons activated. But Ward smiled faintly. They think they're in control. They have no idea what comes next. The first energy blast collided with Ward's lead ship. Sparks flew. Hull shuddered. But instead of retreating, he pressed forward. Every move was calculated, every shot precise. The unknown fleet leader reacted, but slowly, as if it had never faced true strategy before. Vralek's voice broke the tense silence. By the stars? They're learning. Ward didn't look back. They provoked humanity. Now they will see what happens when you push us too far. Outside, the battle reached its turning point. Light exploded across the void as the first real blow struck the leadership. The unknown fleet faltered, and then Ward whispered almost to himself, "We're just getting started." The void outside the council station burned with chaos. Human and council ships moved with precision, firing at the unknown fleet. But despite their efforts, the black leadership remained intact, commanding its forces with unrelenting efficiency. Captain Elias Ward stood in the command chamber, his hands clenched over the tactical console. Sparks flew from damaged panels around him, but he didn't flinch. His eyes scanned the holographic display, analyzing every movement of the enemy fleet. "Admiral Kine," he said, voice calm but firm. "We've drawn most of their fleet into traps, but the leadership, it's different. It's intelligent, adaptive. We need to find its command center." Kane's hologram flickered to life beside him. "Captain, sensors indicate the ship isn't fully organic. It's control signals. It's being operated remotely, like a hive mind. But the source, it's inside the council's sector. Someone here is directing them." Ward froze for a moment. Then his jaw tightened. "Someone betrayed the galaxy. And us." Vralek's antennae twitched nervously. "Betrayal, You're accusing one of our own?" Ward didn't answer. Instead, he tapped the console, zooming in on the energy signature of the leadership. The signal matched a hidden transmitter deep within the council station itself, an area only the Grand Speaker and a few top officials had access to. Talon's feathers bristled. You think Vralek is involved?" Vralek recoiled. I swear, I did not." His voice wavered, but doubt lingered in the chamber. Ward's eyes narrowed. "Then someone else. We'll find out. But first, we end the fleet." Outside, the human and council ships adjusted their positions. The unknown fleet leader fired again, massive beams cutting through defenses. One human frigate was destroyed instantly, its crew gone in a flash of energy. Ward pressed a button, activating the station's hidden weapon array. Energy beams erupted, striking the leadership. Its shields flickered violently. For the first time, the black ship shuddered. "Direct hit," Kane reported. "But it's adapting. Its shields are regenerating." Ward frowned. "Adaptation is just reaction. We need strategy. I'll lead a boarding team onto the leadership. We take out the control node directly." Talon's eyes widened. "Boarding? That's suicide. The ship is massive, and the unknown fleet will not let anyone get close." Ward's gaze was steady. Humanity thrives where others see death. "Gather volunteers. We're going in." Vralek's voice trembled. I will provide coordinates and access codes. But if you fail, everything dies." Ward nodded. "We won't fail. Not this time." Minutes later, Ward and a team of elite human soldiers, along with a small contingent of council operatives, entered sleek assault pods. Outside, stars streaked past as they accelerated toward the massive black ship. Its hull loomed closer, jagged and deadly, energy shields pulsing ominously. The unknown fleet fired on them, but Ward's pods moved with precision, weaving through enemy fire. One by one, the boarding pods latched onto the ship's hull. Ward's team breached the outer defenses. Plasma alarms blared inside, casting red light on walls of black metal. "Stick to the plan," Ward whispered. "Find the core. Neutralize it. We survive, or the galaxy burns." The team moved swiftly. Alien sensors and drones patrolled the corridors. They were met with resistance, but Ward's soldiers were efficient, trained for situations the Council had never imagined. Finally, they reached the heart of the ship. A massive chamber housed a glowing control node, pulsing with strange energy. Around it were wires, conduits, and small screens displaying galactic maps. Ward approached cautiously. Then a voice rang out, cold and metallic. "So, the humans finally arrive." Ward's eyes widened. "Who's there? Show yourself." A figure emerged from the shadows. Tall humanoid, clad in black armor but with a metallic sheen to their skin. Their eyes glowed pale blue. "You humans are as reckless as I was told, but impressive." Ward's jaw tightened. "Who are you? Why attack the Council? Why provoke humanity?" The figure smiled faintly. I am Lord Xylar, a rogue strategist of the ancients. Long ago, my civilization controlled fleets across galaxies, but my people were destroyed by the very council you serve. I survived. I built this fleet. And I used your arrogance, your council's arrogance, to push humanity into the fire. You are my ultimate test. Talon gasped. An ancient? You've been alive. For centuries. Xylar's eyes glowed brighter, longer. And I will see which species is worthy of survival. Humanity. You are the spark I have been waiting to witness. Ward's hands tightened into fists. We're not here to play your games. If you think you can destroy us, think again. Humanity never surrenders. Xylar laughed, the sound echoing in the chamber. Then prove it. Ward activated his portable energy disruptor. The control node began to destabilize. Xylar's fleet outside reacted violently, their energy beams firing in wild patterns. The ship shook. Now! Ward shouted to his team. They placed explosives on the control node, wires sparking, alarms screaming. The node began to overload. The entire ship trembled. Energy surged uncontrollably, flickering across conduits and hallways. Xylar's expression shifted from amusement to fury. Impossible. No one can. A massive explosion erupted. The control node disintegrated. The fleet's leadership shuddered violently. Its energy beams went dark. The unknown fleet scattered, directionless. Ward and his team barely escaped the blast, jumping back into their pods. Outside, human and council ships pressed the attack, destroying the remaining fleet. The battle ended in a flash of light and silence. Ward looked at the wreckage in space, chest heaving. The threat is over. For now. Talon stepped forward, awe in his eyes. Captain, humanity saved us all. Vralik, still trembling, muttered, I underestimated you truly. Humanity is not to be provoked. Ward's voice was quiet but firm, and we will make sure no one ever forgets that lesson. Outside, the stars were calm again. But in the shadows of deep space, Xylar's essence flickered, a silent warning that the galaxy's trials were far from over. The void of space was quiet now, but the silence was only temporary. The council station, scarred and smoking from the battle, hovered among the stars. The human and council fleets gathered their forces, assessing the damage. Captain Elias Ward stood in the command chamber, his hands resting on the console. His eyes scanned the battlefield outside. The remnants of the unknown fleet scattered across the void, burning, directionless. Admiral Kane, he said, voice calm. Status report on the fleets? All human ships intact minus minor hull damage. Council ships sustained heavier losses, but they are operational. Unknown fleet is neutralized. For now, she replied. Her hologram flickered slightly, showing relief in her expression. Ward didn't relax. Good, but Xylar, he's still out there. We haven't seen the last of him. Vralik shuffled forward, fear and awe in his eyes. Captain, if what you say is true, if humanity continues like this, perhaps the Council has underestimated your species entirely. Ward looked at him steadily. You already have, and hopefully this time the lesson will last. The chamber was tense. Ambassador Talon, feathers ruffled but eyes bright, spoke softly. We need to secure the station and ensure no remnants of Xylar's fleet survive. Humanity had saved the galaxy today. Ward's voice was quiet but firm. We didn't save it to be praised. We saved it because no one else could. And if Xylar thinks he can return, he'll find the galaxy united in ways he never imagined. Outside, the stars flickered with light as repair drones began patching the council station. The human fleet circled in defensive formation, ready for any new threat. But deep in the shadows of hyperspace, a faint blue glow pulsed. Xylar's essence, though shattered, flickered with intelligence and fury. His voice, though silent, resonated through the remnants of his fleet. They are not ready, but I will return. Back in the station, Ward and Kane moved through the corridors. Broken panels, scorched walls, and the smell of burning metal reminded them of the battle's cost. Yet they pressed on. Humanity and the Council had survived together, a fragile alliance now forged in fire. Ward stopped before the Council's central chamber. Holoscreens flickered, showing the delegates slowly gathering. Vralik approached, bowed his head. Captain, you will be honored as the savior of the Council? Ward shook his head. I don't need honor. I need understanding. Let humanity and the Council learn from this. If we truly work together, no one in this galaxy can provoke us again. Talon stepped beside him. Captain Ward, your courage has changed everything, not just for humans but for all species. They see now what humans are capable of when pushed to the edge. Ward glanced at the holographic image of Earth, spinning silently among the stars. They'll remember the message. Humanity is not weak. Humanity fights, adapts, survives, and thrives. Frolic's eyes shone with a mix of fear and respect. It is untrue. Perhaps you are not the threat we feared. Perhaps you are the hope we need. Ward's expression softened, but his eyes remained sharp. Hope is earned through action, not words. And if anyone ever provokes humanity again, they will see the consequences. Outside, the human fleet began repairing damaged ships, coordinating with Council engineers. The unknown fleet had been defeated, but the memory of its power lingered. Every species watching knew one thing. Earth was no longer a small player. Humanity had stepped onto the galactic stage as a force to be reckoned with. Admiral Kane approached Ward. Captain, the Council may finally listen to reason now. But what about Xylar? Ward's eyes narrowed, staring into the blackness beyond the station. Xylar will come back, but he'll find something he didn't expect. A galaxy united and humans ready, and this time we'll be waiting. Frolic stepped forward, voice low. You've changed everything, Captain. The Council, perhaps all of us, will remember today forever. Ward nodded. Let them remember. Not because we destroyed a fleet, but because we survived together, and no one will ever provoke humanity again. The chamber was silent for a moment, the weight of the words hanging in the air. Then slowly applause, hesitant at first, then growing stronger. Not just from the humans, but from Council delegates, their fear replaced with respect. Ward turned back toward the window. Stars stretched endlessly across the void. Earth shone in the distance, small but defiant. A voice whispered in the calm, soft and steady. Captain, the galaxy will remember you. Ward's smile was faint but determined. Let them remember that humanity never gives up. And as the fleets repaired, the station rebuilt, and the Council slowly regained its composure. A new reality had settled over the galaxy. Humans were no longer a race to provoke. They were a force. They were unity in chaos. They were the spark that reminded the stars what it meant to fight and to win. Outside, in the darkness of space, faint blue pulses still shimmered. Xylar's warning lingered, a silent promise of future trials. But for now, humanity had triumphed. The galaxy would never forget. The end.